Hey everybody, this is Patchy from Phoenixes.com. In this vlog, I'm going to be talking about my 5 favorite DOS games from childhood. And I'm going to show you them on my old DOS computer here, which I recently fixed by replacing a bad power supply. This beast of a machine is a 386 running MS-DOS 5.0. Has a clock rate of 32 MHz on turbo. Has a 5 1/4 inch floppy disk, which is good for holding absolutely nothing since it is 1.2 megabytes in high density. Of course, I have a 3.5 inch floppy here. I also have an old sound source speaker. There's two interesting things about this speaker. One, made by Disney. Two, it plugs into your parallel port. What the fuck? Alright, let's boot up this badass machine here, and let's get started. You just gotta love the noises that an old DOS computer makes when it boots up. It's beautiful. Music to my ears. This is the old computer that got me started with hacking. This is how badass I was when I was a kid. I required a key to be put in to the computer before it could boot. And that key happened to be this floppy here. Basically, it's a batch file that looks for a file on that floppy, and if it finds that floppy, it lets you into the computer. If not, you can't get in, but of course you can just push Control-C, but whatever. I was like 13, come on. Alright, when it boots up here, you get the old MS-DOS shell, but I'm way cooler than that, so I'm going to go to the command prompt. Gotta love these old keyboards. They don't make them like this anymore. Number 5 on my list is Lemmings. The first game on my list is Lemmings because this is just a classic game. I'm sure many of you have spent hours and hours playing this game because I'm pretty sure it doesn't end. There's nothing better than trying to help hordes of mindless zombies, trying to navigate them to their goal. And if you're sick like me, you also enjoy blowing up these little creatures. This game is just hours of fun, trying to solve puzzles. This game definitely is one of the better puzzle games out there. And it's still fun to play today. Lemmings kicks ass. Number 4 on my list is Ragnarok. Ragnarok is by far my favorite RPG. It was originally called Valhalla and was released in 1992. However, it was renamed Ragnarok and released as freeware in 1995. This game is extremely in-depth and has a very hard learning curve. But if you stick with it, it's really fun to play. When you first start a game, you have to put in your name. And you only can use this name once. And the reason why is if you die and you start a new game, there's a chance where you can meet your past character's ghosts and have to fight them later in the game. Alright, there's 6 classes to choose from. There's Viking, Woodsman, Sage, Alchemist, Blacksmith, and Conjurer. After you level your character 10 levels, you master that class. And you'll get a special skill. Vikings, it's you master weapons, so you're more efficient with weapons. Woodsman, I believe you get husbandry, which allows you to clone animals, or basically clone them. And taming, which allows you to get weak enemies on your side. And I think there might be another one, but I can't remember. Sage is the ability to rewrite scrolls, which is very important, and I'll tell you why later. Alchemist is the knowledge of every mixture of potions. Basically, there's potions in this game, and you can mix them together to get a new potion. Basically, the alchemist gets a list of all those outcomes, which is very helpful because sometimes the potions can be very bad on your character. Blacksmith is the ability to make weapons and armor. It's pretty unique how Blacksmith does this. Basically, you have to have an anvil, a mallet, tongs, and you also have to have something to melt metal with. And that actually happens to be a wand of fire, which they don't tell you that, but you just kind of have to figure this out. Basically, you can melt down armor and weapons made of metal and create other weapons from that. And the Conjurer has various abilities. I can't remember all of them, but I think one of them is teleportation, and another one is heat ray, which is or heat vision, which allows you to kill animals pretty quickly. And there's also another way to gain abilities, and that's through scrolls of knowledge. And basically, you read it, and you'll obtain a random ability, like the ability to swim or the ability to make maps, which will actually reveal everything on that in that current area. There's a few other abilities out there, but I can't remember what all of them are since it's been a while since I played. Alright, I usually start off as a sage, because when you reach level 10 you can rewrite scrolls, and you start with a stylus, which is needed for that process. The reason why this is so good is because scrolls are very important in this game, and it gives you the ability to take any scroll that you have and change it into a different scroll. And some scrolls are very powerful. There's one that you only can write once. And it's the scroll of switch bodies, which will allow you to switch bodies with the strongest player on the map, which I actually did when I beat this game. I made it to level 10, and then I went to an area where I knew where a very strong monster often spawns. I wrote that scroll and then used it, and I switched into that character, and it helped me significantly through my quest, because you do die very easily in this game, and it can be very frustrating for new players. And of course, after you level up 10 levels with that character, you have the option to switch classes and master another skill set. Basically, in Ragnarok, there's 6 quests that you have to do, which aid the gods in their battle against these evil demons. You don't have to complete all the quests, but it increases your chances of winning this final battle. And basically, you just start in a village and you walk around. Really, you don't know what you're doing. And you notice you get attacked right away. And then you have a pack that holds various items. And as you'll notice that all these, I just opened up my scrolls here, you notice that none of them have actual names, and that's because you don't know what actually their abilities are until you use the scroll of identification on them to reveal their purpose. And also, various items can be cursed or blessed, and you don't know this unless you use the identification scroll. If they are, then they have either better effects or adverse effects. And this is just a shop. Every time you play the game, everything is put out there randomly, and this is just a shop that was randomly here. And I bought the scroll of identification, and I'll show you that I can use it to reveal what an item is. And I'm just going to use it on one of the scrolls. Woven scroll. And it turns out to be the scroll of 12 gates, which is not a good scroll to have. It's actually one of the worst scrolls. Basically, when you use it, it opens up the gates of hell, and a whole bunch of animals attack you. And if you notice right there, I was randomly teleported out of the building. That's because throughout the levels there's traps, and unless you have a ring of protection, you don't know where these traps are. That brings me to rings. Rings give your player different abilities. Like protection helps you reveal traps, and there's other ones that increase your agility and speed, and just different things throughout the game. And you also might have noticed in that shop I bought the Scroll of Blessing, which is very important because it allows you to you can either bless a weapon or armor, which will increase the level of the armor, or bless scrolls. If you bless the Scroll of Identification, this is really important. If you bless the Scroll of Identification and then use the Scroll of Identification, it will reveal everything in your pack, which is pretty awesome. Oh, and I'm just going to click on a random scroll here, and this is actually pretty rare. It's one of the better scrolls. It's the scroll of I can't remember if it's a scroll of elimination or I can't remember what it's called. You can type in a race, and all those races will be eliminated from the game if the race isn't important to the story, and then it won't let you. But that's a very powerful scroll, and that's why being a sage is so good, because you can take any scroll, any non-important scroll, like the scroll of 12 gates, like I talked earlier, one of the worst scrolls, and then rewrite it to that elimination scroll and take out annoying creatures. Because throughout the game you'll meet many annoying creatures. Some creatures turn you to stone, which will just kill you after a few turns, and that's just a pain in the ass. There's these characters called pale moss that you find in the underground world quite a bit, and basically if you hit by them enough times, you actually start to forget your abilities, and that's really shitty because they're everywhere in the underground. So those are really important. So I suggest to everybody that's watching this to try Ragnarok. I would also suggest downloading one of the strategy or hint guides, because that's really helpful. Also, another tip: save very often, because you will die all the time. Alright. The number 3 game on my list is Cannon Fodder. Cannon Fodder is a game where you navigate a small group of troops around a level to complete various goals. Usually killing all the enemies and blowing up several buildings. The game starts off really easy, but later levels get extremely difficult. And you have to implement different strategies to complete the level, usually by splitting up your group into smaller segments and attacking the enemy in different waves. And also you get various weapons that help you complete your task, like grenades and missiles. The controls in this game are really simple. All you have to do is left click to tell them where they want to go, and right click to shoot. The simplicity of this game makes it a lot of fun to play, and the cartoony look also adds to the character of the game. And after every mission, you gain more and more recruits that can be used if some of your soldiers die. They'll replace other soldiers. It may seem like you have a lot now, but you will use them later in the game because it gets pretty hard, and your men can die pretty easily. And every character in the game has a different name, which kind of makes it sad when they die. Gotta make sure you're clear of the building, because flying debris can kill your men, which, so you notice it took out a couple of my men in this round. And as you can see, when you finish the mission, they honor the soldiers that are lost, and it's sad. And the soldiers that survive rank up. And I'm pretty sure that this doesn't make them any better. It just shows that they survived many campaigns. I definitely recommend this game to anybody that's a fan of Battalion Wars on the GameCube. I actually bought Battalion Wars because of this game, because it kind of reminded me of this of Cannon Fodder. My number 2 game is Commander Keen Goodbye Galaxy. The second game on my list is Commander Keen Goodbye Galaxy. This is the 4th Commander Keen game of 7, and the reason I chose this one is because I actually won this game in a fun fair when I was in 1st grade. So I played this one quite a bit compared to the other ones. And basically this game is a platformer made by id, so you know it's good. And you play this pale kid that's wearing a Green Bay Packers helmet, apparently. Although it seems pretty strange, it's actually a pretty fun game. Basically, the point of this one is to save, I believe, 6 uh, old men called oracles um, to save the world. I guess I don't know. I can't remember the storyline exactly, but it's a fun platformer. Um, you get a pogo stick, which is cool. Yeah, there's not a lot to say about this game, but it is a very fun platformer, and it gets quite difficult. Um, and if you play this one and you seem to like the idea behind this game, there's you know, which is like this game, and then there's also another one I believe made by a different company called Keen Dreams, which was not very good. Basically, Commander King has a dream, a bad dream, and he fights vegetables. It was pretty lame. Yep, Commander Keen's a badass. My number one childhood game of all time is Wolfenstein 3D. The top game on my list is Wolfenstein 3D. It's not because of the amazing gameplay or anything like that, it's just because it's one of the first PC games I ever played. I'm not sure if a 6-year-old or whatever age I was back then should have been playing this game, but it sure was fun. And it's just basically an old first-person shooter. Like a lot of old first-person shooters, there's several campaigns you can choose from. The only one I've actually beaten is the first one. All these episodes are pretty strange. The game's pretty straightforward. All you do is run around and kill Nazis, which is always fun. There's several secrets thrown out around the game, especially like this secret, which gives you the machine gun right away, which is awesome. And surprisingly, this game is actually pretty difficult. Every time you get hit, you lose a considerable amount of health. And the reason why I don't have the other classic first-person shooters on this list is because Doom couldn't run on this computer. It was way too laggy, and you know, Duke Nukem 3D was, if Doom wasn't going to run, there's no way that would run. So, not to mention, I don't believe the hard drive is big enough to support the 40 megabyte game. But yeah, that's basically it for Wolfenstein 3D. It's a really fun first-person shooter, so I suggest everybody should just play it for at least a couple hours. It's fun, especially if you're a fan of the series. And it makes some quality first-person shooters. The company that's behind, Doom, Quake, obviously Wolfenstein, a lot of great first-person shooters. So it is well done and it's fun to play. There's one more game that I do want to mention that I didn't add in my top 5, and the reason I didn't is because it came out in 1998, and my DOS computer couldn't run it anyways. But it is one of my favorite DOS games ever. It's called Liero, and it's basically Worms on crack. It's similar to Worms because you play as worms and you have some pretty crazy weapons, but it's different because it's in real time. It's not turn-based, which makes it pretty crazy. Basically, there's a whole bunch of different game modes, and everything in this game can be configured. The amount of time it takes to reload your gun, the amount of blood, if the level regenerates after you get done with the game. You can change your health, your color, your controls, and you also can play against the computer. But this game definitely is better playing against a human because the computer's kind of dumb. Anyways, there's a whole slew of weapons to choose from, which makes the game pretty interesting. Really, the weapons you choose are based on what type of level you're playing in and who you're playing against, and of course your reload time. That changes the game significantly, because if you have no load time, you can just use the big nuke and just shoot tons of them over the screen, which I'll show you later. But right now I'm playing with 50% load time, just to speed up the game a little bit. And as you can see, just worms underground. You can dig through the dirt by pushing forward and tapping back. I'm just going to launch one of the big nukes here, and you can see how the explosions are in this game. It's pretty cool. And also you have a grappling hook, kind of like in Worms. And this will definitely help you out by getting around and also attacking the enemy. And I'm just going to play through a game here, and you can just watch it. Alright, now that you saw the normal game on normal, I'm gonna change the reload time to 0, which makes the game pretty interesting, pretty intense, really. And the weapons I like to use when there's no reload time is the big nuke, the spike ball. Missiles are fun too because you can control them. I'll show you that in a little bit. And just anything that really makes a big explosion is useful. You can see here I can just launch a whole bunch of nukes and just takes out a huge chunk of the map, which is really cool. Those are my top 5 DOS games from childhood, plus the Arrow. I hope you enjoyed this video and brought you back some memories from your childhood. If you haven't played these games, I suggest you guys go out and play them. It's definitely a lot of fun. See you guys later.